Okay, no intro music, no intros, no funny puns. No, we're getting right to the bottom of this. This is the Silver Linings Playlist, a podcast that tries to find the silver lining in sleeping with your dead brother's new wife who turns out to be a kinky serial killer.
Spoilers!
Mally,
What's up?
You gotta explain yourself. Why do this to us again? Why are we doing this again?
Because, okay, hear me out.
Uh-huh.
What's the one major thing missing from all action movies these days?
Oh boy.
Full penetration.
Oh, fuck.
Guys, we're going to show full penetration. We're going to show a lot of it. I mean, we're talking, graphic sex scenes of Dolph Lundgren.
We've done
really
this.
going to town on this hot young woman from behind, 69, anal,
Jesus Christ.
vaginal,
Oh, my God.
cowgirl, reverse cowgirl, all the hits, all the big ones, all the good ones. Then he smells crime again. He's out busting heads, and he's back to the lab for some more full penetration. Smells crime, back to the lab, full penetration, crime, full penetration, crime, penetration. And this goes on and back and forth for 90 minutes or so until the movie just sort of ends.
You know what?
Honestly, accurate.
Yeah, I get it now. I get it.
No, in retrospect, that episode of It's Always Sunny makes so much more sense now.
I gotta say, somehow that monologue made me angrier this time than it did for 365 days.
So I was going to come on this episode and be like, okay, sleepers, I get it.
Yeah, I was gonna come on this episode too.
Yeah. I was going to come on this episode and be like, sleepers, I get why that happened. 365 days. 100% on you.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
this one, I'm like, what did we do? Is because I chose 50 Shades? Is that why?
And also, you replaced something else with this.
I know.
Yeah.
God.
So I also want to throw out something up top.
Yeah.
The movie we're covering this week is Jill Rips.
Yeah.
And I think we owe JT an apology. He didn't tell you guys this, but he was really bummed because when he saw it get added to the schedule, he thought the movie was called Jewel Rips, and he got real excited.
As someone who has said at these episodes, I hear tons of Jewel Rips. I'll take it.
You've been holding on to that joke for how long?
Since the movie got added to the schedule. Yeah.
Okay, speaking of jokes, I want to do something special this episode, fellas. I have taken the liberty of making an envelope.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's a sealed envelope, as you can see.
Oh, this motherfucker's the Riddler.
I can't open it. This only gets opened this episode if something that I think will happens in this episode.
Oh,
okay.
no.
Who the fuck put a question mark in the foam of my cappuccino?
And it's not gonna get opened unless the joke happens. So this may not have any payoff, but I have faith in you guys. I have a feeling one of you made the same joke I did.
I already did the full penetration bit.
That's
You
right.
sure did. This is something different. So we'll see if this pays off or not.
I will tell you right now, I have very few funny things to say about most of my notes for this movie is why, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Who is this character?
The journalist questions.
Wait, is the joke about me only referring to JT as Big Jim from now on?
I like that.
No, but I do like that as well.
There are far too many people walking around in the same bad wig. I can't.
This is Wig the movie.
It is.
No, this is going to be guaranteed the episode that is least listened to, I feel like, because first of all, what is the name of the movie? Because I was under the impression it was called Jill Rips, but then when I look it up, it's also called Jill the Ripper.
Yeah.
And Tied Up.
Right.
And what was it? Los Adventures of Pequeno Rambo or whatever.
Yeah, Perry Noel, Jill Rips. The thing that blew my mind was during the opening credits when the words "based on the novel" by
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and then there is a book called Jill Rips that apparently barely resembles this movie.
Not even the character names are the same.
Incredible. Well, there's no character named Jill in this movie.
So there isn't, and this is what was making me upset because when I looked into the movie before I even watched it, when I was pulling all the info down for this episode, I thought what I was getting was this is a gender bent Jack the Ripper thing because the movie's called Jill Rips.
Sure.
And then I saw while I was looking up also.
Nah, you're not getting any of that.
I know. I saw that it was also known as Jill the Ripper. And that's why I texted Mally. I was like, you cannot do this to us twice.
No.
This Jack the Ripper shit.
Yes, I can.
But apparently the media in this movie, and this could not be committed to memory. Apparently there's this throwaway line where someone says that, in the media, they're calling her Jill the Ripper.
Oh, no. There's a shot of a newspaper,
Oh,
you
God.
dick.
There is a shot of a newspaper where the production designer has put or the props department has put a sticker over the actual headline that has Jill the Ripper on. It is the most like slapdash shit I've ever seen.
Also, technically, that's set deck.
You're right.
Semantics.
Thank you.
This is a movie that has never so quickly gone in one ear and out the other. Like, I am going to have a hard time following this plot.
Really? That's the orifice it went into?
Hey.
It's the only one I would let it into, but like, Jesus Christ.
It's 8:30 in the fucking morning.
It's so early to talk about this thing.
Bless you.
So I guess if you've never listened to the show, I cannot imagine you're clicking on this episode for the first time. However,
tie yourself down and get fucking ready.
Oh boy. If you are one of those people, this is the Silver Linings Playlist. And normally we're a podcast that talks about movies that don't end in happily ever after endings.
Yeah.
This movie counts for sure.
Yes.
But normally we talk about movies that have penetrated the cultural subconscious in some way.
This didn't penetrate your subconscious?
It surely did not. This is such a non-movie that, number one, on Wikipedia, I'm surprised they even had a Wikipedia article to begin with. There's not a full plot description. It's basically just an extended log line. And then
no one was able to finish the movie.
That's very true. No one's ever seen the end of this thing. Under the reception section, normally it would be like, oh, this movie's got a whatever on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, and this film critic said this about the movie. It only talks about the reception of the novel.
Yes.
I thought that was so fucking funny.
And when you click on the novel, it takes you just to the author's Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Like the original novel doesn't even have a wiki page. This movie, there's no reviews of this movie online.
Yeah.
This movie has no footprint. I have asked multiple people that are friends of mine who are bad movie connoisseurs, and people are like, what the fuck is that movie? We asked Brian last week, have you heard of Jill Rips? And he like knew the director's other work, but was like, no, I've never heard of that fucking movie.
I can't believe that like there is no cultural footprint on this thing. Like no one has heard of it.
It was about to, I will say, because How Did This Get Made was supposed to record an episode about it before the wildfires like canceled their live shows.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Which Mally chose this movie independently of that. It was, which is kind of incredible.
Mally, how did you even come across this thing? This feels like a Tubi, like I'm throwing it on, just, it just pops up on the screen. You don't even click play.
My neighbor showed it to me.
Amazing.
You got to get a new neighbor, man.
Is your neighbor Dolph Lundgren? He's like, actually, I think I'm underrated in this.
I'm going to tell you, I don't think Dolph Lundgren remembers making this thing because I think he's method acting.
Oh, the director said it was Dolph's best performance.
Best performance in a movie directed by me, maybe. Maybe that's what we could say. But
This was like the time still, like when we were just casting Dolph Lundgren or Schwarzenegger as like all American dudes and no one was batting an eye.
I disagree. Because this movie feels like it should have came out in like 1983 and instead...
And it's 2000.
It's 2000, baby. We were not still doing this.
It was a pre-9/11 world, y'all.
But I agree with you, Mally, because I'm obsessed with...
Why?
I'm obsessed with those movies where like these guys are just regular dudes. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger is just a mattress salesman.
Jingle all the way, baby.
Jingle all the way. And in this movie, it's so funny every time
Rip
everyone...
it all the way.
Someone reminds you that Dolph Lundgren is just a good old Irish Catholic boy from Boston. Like,
God.
And he does that thing where he tries to flatten out the accent, so like everything is just mush mouth.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Well, to be fair, he's drunk.
Right, that's true.
JT, you did not see this, right?
No, I did not watch this. I looked it up. I saw the poster and I was like, nah, I'm gonna skip this one.
Fair
I
enough.
didn't even see what year it came out in.
But you watched 50 Shades.
Well, I learned my lesson.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I want to say, this movie's more fun.
Yeah.
But I didn't even see what year it came out in. And when you said 2000, because that poster looks 80s as fuck.
It is the most generic, like Steven Seagal holding a gun in front of his face kind of poster.
100%.
But it takes place in the 80s?
77.
77.
Yeah.
Although Dolph Lundgren does walk by...
Hence the polyester conversation.
He walks by a sign for digital photo prints at one point that made me laugh really hard.
God, it's just, this is such a bad movie. Like, there's nothing here that's interesting.
Yeah.
The filmmaking is so shoddy. everybody.
Disagree.
Before I finished it and before like the first like batch of nudity happens, I was like, this has got to be a made-for-TV thing because
don't call them batches.
well, there's just like so many fade to blacks. I'm
The
like,
first load, if you will.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, there's more fades to black than like any student film I've ever seen.
It really felt like an extended episode of Silk Stalkings or something. Like this is like USA After Dark.
This movie fades to black more than fucking Metallica.
100%.
It's ridiculous.
It felt like it was edited for TV. Like it was
Yeah.
like, okay, we'll put the ad breaks here, we'll fade everything out. It's so bizarre. The lighting in this thing, you would think it's a movie from the 80s that sat on a shelf because everything has that glossy sheen to it.
For 20 years.
Yeah.
This is 2 years after The Matrix.
Yeah.
Like this is insane that this is allowed to be released.
Well, that explains all the leather.
It sure does. So I guess let's wait around no further, fellas. Let's get into the info dump, which is not a word I want to say.
Info-Dolph.
Info-Dolph, I like that. So the year, as we mentioned, is shockingly 2000. The director is Anthony Hickox, who also did maybe the coolest Hellraiser movie in the
Wow.
original run, Hellraiser 3.
Bold.
Wow.
That's the coolest one. You can't even sit here and tell me
It's
that.
the MTV one. It's the Dream Master of the Hellraiser movies
Yeah.
for sure.
When I first put this on the schedule, Nathan saw the director and was just like, you son of a bitch.
I was like the director of Waxwork.
Yeah. I man, if you can't look at me in the eye and tell me Doug Bradley doing the Jesus wept in front of a stained glass window that explodes isn't the coolest fucking thing ever.
I think that movie is very fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely the most fun Hellraiser movie.
There you go. The budget was $2 million.
No, it
I guess
wasn't.
all went in Dolph's pocket,
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, no, baby. It's all on screen.
I don't think this movie even got a theatrical release.
Do you know how much a form-fitting red leather catsuit is?
Yes, but I will
Nathan
not be
does.
revealing.
I was going to say, this outfit looks like it's like a Power Rangers reject villain. Like,
Oh, man.
It's so bad.
There's some great, like, almost luchador-esque masks
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yeah. It's not even form-fitting.
Is that what's in the envelope?
No, not yet. We'll get there.
Real quick, the first time they like were doing like the gratuitous close-ups of the catsuit,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you thought it was gonna be Dolph, right?
Oh, I wish. I fucking wish. I just thought it was so ill-fitting. Like, look in the screenshot Nathan's guy. It's not even like on the wrist properly. Like, it's loose.
Well, that's because they have to do a misdirect where two different characters own the same outfit.
Yeah.
The amount of misdirects in this thing is infuriating because it's like, I know what I saw.
But then also,
Like,
there are moments where Dolph Lundgren will just throw out knowledge that he can't have. Like the scene where he confronts Irene and is just like, I think she's your sister, and I think you watched your mother die. Like, I was like, what do you mean? Your name used to be Ursula.
He's a detective. He's detecting shit.
No,
He's not a detective.
That is the thing.
He's
Like,
not.
he has not been a cop for years.
Yeah.
You don't lose that.
And they never say if he was a former detective. They just say you were a former cop.
Yep.
So I don't know. But I could not find anything about how much this movie made because, like I said, I don't know if it even got a theatrical release. And it currently has an 11% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Hell yeah.
Because there is no credit. No credit score either. No critic score.
There's no critic score?
There's no. This thing has no.
Is that a first?
No, I think we've done a movie before that didn't have one. I can't remember, but like, yeah, there's no footprint on this thing. There's no carbon footprint on this thing at all.
Like, even 365 Days had like a
0% Rotten Tomatoes. At least had something.
We've never covered Dolph Lundgren before, right?
Surprisingly, no, we haven't.
How do we feel as a group of gentlemen about Dolph Lundgren?
I think he is a good-looking guy. He's very fit.
I have thin walls, so I can't really say.
I think he's a great character actor. I don't know if he can lead a movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that he does really interesting work with the right material and the right director, and he's one of those guys that, like, it is the true, like, they don't make him like this anymore kind of Hollywood story where he had like a chemical engineering scholarship and then was discovered in a club by Grace Jones, and she's like, I want you to be my boyfriend and my bodyguard, and then a year later he's in a Bond movie.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. I mean, it's like It's like Vin Diesel getting pulled for, what was it, Boiler Room because he was like tagging up a abandoned movie theater.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how some of these careers happen.
And we're all worse for it.
Yeah.
Oh.
But Dolph, you can't have a movie like this where the lead actor's name reminds me of the word dolphin and then have characters walking around in suits that look like dolphin skin, because that's all I can think about.
Weirdly, a problem I didn't have.
And that's unique to me, and I'm fully aware of that.
Yeah.
But also, I have, you talk on your other podcast, Nathan, about alternate movie titles. I think I got one for this.
Nathan has another podcast?
I'm also getting married. I haven't mentioned it recently.
I think you could call this movie ADR the movie.
Oh.
Because everything is ADR'd in this thing. Every line of dialogue.
The first line of dialogue Eddie has, his mouth is like, it is like a spaghetti western. It's wild.
We put out Ezekiel Sims from Madam Web. And
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys thought I couldn't find a movie that combined Madam Web and 50 Shades? Boy, did I.
I applaud you. I think the funniest fucking line of ADR is at the very beginning, though, when the kids are playing, and you hear like a full-grown woman who's supposed to be ADRing this child go, "Is that a body in the lake?"
Look at that body. Yeah.
It's so fucking funny.
Well, because the kids' like body languages, they are nonplussed by this corpse.
Man, they're kids in Boston. They've seen shit.
That's true.
The other thing was I noticed I apparently talk about Dolph Lundgren quite a bit because my phone, while I was writing notes, auto-capitalized his name.
Ooh.
So I've shouted Dolph Lundgren at people.
That's my Kelly Clarkson when I'm getting waxed. It's Dolph Lundgren.
Hoobastank.
Wait, no, the Notes app did that to me too.
No.
Fellas, I don't think there's much a conspiracy here.
Wait, is that an Apple thing?
Yeah, I think Dolph is just in the Apple dictionary. Like, we know who you're talking about.
Have I just texted you Dolph Lundgren a lot?
Hang on, let me hold up.
Why do you look for that?
Dolph Lundgren.
I would say the drink of the film.
Yeah, it auto-capitalized it. What the fuck?
That's so
great.
funny.
That makes me happy.
I would say the drink of the film is whatever you can find, much like how Dolph is in this movie. Just anything that's open, just drink it.
Grain alcohol in coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh.
Fucking Everclear.
Oh. I'm so curious to see what this trailer looks like. You guys ready?
Thinking conservatively, 30 white flashes.
Mm-hmm. What if it also has bodies in it? Like Giant Pool snuck its way in here.
But it's Dolph Lundgren singing it.
Ooh. Nothing wrong with me. Too. Nothing wrong.
No.
All right, let's see.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to have a seizure.
Immediately.
A murder
Oh.
shocks a community,
There's been a murder.
shatters a family. A ruthless killer on a rampage. When a former cop is forced out of retirement to
A
find
second VO guy?
Yeah.
the
What?
mother's home investigation.
He's also not forced out of retirement. He just starts poking his nose and shit.
Killer's world,
What would you like?
but he'll have to go further than he ever imagined before the killer strikes again.
Oh my God.
Hell yeah.
Tell me I had my brother killed.
What the fuck is going on?
They put a shot of a guy getting kicked in the balls in this action trailer.
Right.
Jill rips.
There's only one action sequence in the movie, and they've chopped it up for this trailer.
That might be my favorite moment in the entire movie when he breaks into this woman's house for like the 5th time.
Yeah.
She shoots at him and he goes, "What are you doing?"
Dude.
It's like when Wesley Snipes goes, "Motherfucker, you out of your mind?"
Yeah. Okay, so I can't.
Okay, is this a better movie if it's Wesley Snipes?
Maybe, honestly, maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
But it's Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Blade don't pay for dominatrixes.
So, man, this movie feels like it's like leftover deleted scenes from other action movies of the 80s.
Was that your Wesley Snipes?
I don't know. It's my impression of Dave Chappelle doing an impression of Wesley Snipes.
There you go. So yeah, I guess you guys are gonna have to keep me honest here about the plot of this thing because I cannot recall much.
Not a chance in hell.
I can't recall much. Okay,
So I said, "Oh no!" at the opening shot.
let's go ahead and run through the entire plot now.
Okay,
and then we'll come back to any notes we have because
oh boy, okay.
The basics here, the basics. So it starts with a body being found in the lake by these kids, this frozen lake in Boston in the 70s.
All correct.
This corpse has been tied up and has been mutilated with cuts to his body.
Yeah.
The coroner later on says 53 cuts to the genital area alone.
Yeah.
And it's not considered torture.
That's insane.
53 is, you'd be so tired.
We also see the body and it does not have a penis.
Yeah.
Like it has been like torn off.
Yeah. It's like a crash test dummy that they like just stabbed a bunch of times.
But they tied the penis to the steering wheel.
It turns out that this is Dolph Lundgren's brother.
Yeah.
Sure.
Michael.
And with the weirdest last name, it's like Sorensen. It's such a weird name for a bunch of people to be shouting a bunch, but he is a drunk. He's just a straight up drunk, an old cop that comes back into town to try and figure out who killed his brother.
And he figures out that his brother was doing like geological survey work for this like kingpin-esque figure named Conway.
Yes.
Who wants to build a new subway tunnel. And so Matt is convinced that Conway had his brother killed and framed to look like it was like a kink thing gone wrong.
Yeah. So, question, remind me, why? Because later on, Dolph goes on like a tour that Conway is giving of this like underground tunnel where this subway is going to be. Why is it like a frozen empire under there?
There is literally Conway goes, and of course, you know, we have to keep it freezing cold down here. And it's never explained why. They return to it in the last 4 minutes of the movie.
It's like the opposite of the end of Terminator 2, where like, okay, we're in this very hot steel working place, and now we got to flip on its head. We're in this like industrial cold area. You know, subways, I don't know a lot about them, and I know you got to keep them cold.
It's also one of those, you know, one of those great press conferences where they don't allow the press to ask any questions.
And everyone laughs on cue at every joke this guy makes.
Yeah. So Matt finds out that the details of his brother's murder are going to be released in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And it's going to like embarrass the family. And so then he starts trying to mom. Yeah. And so he starts trying to prove that Conway ordered his brother's death. And this leads him into the seedy S&M underbelly of Boston.
He just immediately, like the moment he sees Big Jim, he's like, oh, he did it.
Yeah, that guy did it. Yeah.
It's like, bro, use your detective skills for like 2 seconds.
I know.
So he, gosh, okay.
Go ahead.
So then he finds out
doing great, sweetie.
Thank you. I took so many fucking notes. It's annoying. So he finds out that there's this guy named Joe Kojavia who looks like Polish Elvis.
These fucking names, my God.
Who killed a prostitute named Annie Vernon, I think. And then she had
Vern, I'm getting killed by
hey, Vern.
If Ernest was in this movie, better movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat your balls, know what I mean?
He's the Dolph role.
Ernest goes to 70s Boston.
And she had 2 daughters. It's truly just a series of scenes where he visits different dominatrices. Is that the plural?
Hey man. This is not an English class. I don't fucking know.
But then just to find out one more morsel of information, it turns out that his brother's wife is the sister of his brother's wife is the daughter of this prostitute who was killed, and then she says that she had a sister named Frances who like was being like abused and sleeping with her husband and like all of this stuff, blah blah blah. Come to find out, Frances maybe never existed, and Irene has been doing all of the killing herself, and then he helps her cover it up. The end.
Bro, you nailed it. Fucking round of applause. That was fantastic.
That was good.
All right, I'm leaving.
It's essentially the plot of The Girl in the Spider's Web. Like, there's
spoilers.
I'm kidding. Yeah, there's like these 2 sisters that one gets abused and one escapes.
Yeah,
and they just have this like very like BDSM lifestyle that they live in this like shady part of the city. But like, It's so messy. Like the plotting is so messy.
Yeah.
No two scenes connect.
They're connected with the fades to black, Dustin.
You're right. You're so right.
You're an editor, bro.
You're
like,
right.
Fucking...
It's the editor's trick. It's just fade to black and then everything connects.
The movie also can't seem to decide if BDSM, just participating in S&M makes you a monster.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren has some very stern thoughts about it.
Yeah, well, it seems to corrupt him just being around it because he can't even have vanilla sex at the end of the movie.
I know. This is like someone definitely saw Basic Instinct. It's like, we could do that, right?
Yeah,
like,
we could do that 12 years later.
Uh-huh.
And bad.
And
worse.
Like completely devoid of any interesting aspects of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Dolph is such an aggro guy. Like he shows up in every scene and he's like grabbing people by the throat.
Yeah.
He grabs the woman that he constantly keeps revisiting, Mary.
Mary O. Yeah.
He grabs her by the throat with two fingers. It's so fucking funny.
And immediately calls her a bitch. Like it's wild.
She's the most tragic character of the whole movie because she's just minding her fucking business and then just dies for no reason.
The hero of the movie shoots her in the chest and then later on is like, I don't know what happened to her. Couldn't tell you. And then gets away with it.
Gets away with it.
It's justice for Mary.
Yeah.
Like, give me something at the end of this thing.
Wait, hang on. So, Dustin, you have the movie playing right now. This fucking scene of him at the table at the wake he's just fucking going for it in this scene.
He thinks he's Daniel Day-Lewising this thing, and it's not. He's Daniel Day-Nothing in this movie.
Got him.
Got his ass.
And the way he sips out of that fucking empty cup 3 different times in this scene.
I know.
Jesus.
It's also like they couldn't afford coverage because there's a number of times in this movie where the master is all they use.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is no close-ups, there is no different angles.
Don't need him.
You don't like.
Don't need him.
There's a scene where they're in like a sex club ostensibly, and it's just the two of them sitting on a couch, and you see sort of legs in the background, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the only shot they had. Okay.
Dude, the sex scene between him and Irene later on is
my
like
God.
from like CTV footage.
Yeah.
Like it's up in the corner,
Yeah.
and it's just aimed down at an angle. It's so bizarre.
His underwear is still on.
Oh, no. The director of Paranormal Activity saw that scene and was like,
Hold on. Hold on.
guys, I have a fucking idea.
I'm about to change everything.
So I just want to run down my notes that I have because the plot is bare bones as we just mentioned it. There's really not much here.
Come on, guys. We got to at least make it to the 30-minute mark.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try. So my first note about Danielle Brett, who is the Irene character, the femme fatale, basically,
Sure.
is they go down into like this subway and like everybody's freezing cold for some reason, and she goes to Dolph because he's like bundled up and she's not, and she goes, "Oh, the cold never bothered me much."
Oh, when she quotes Frozen.
I was gonna say, is this woman's name Elsa? Because they don't tell us her name, I don't think, at that point. But then he refers to her later on as a different Disney lady and calls her Ursula. And I'm like, what is this woman's name? Because
Yeah.
And then he says Irene later on. I'm like, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with this. This is like Penny / Hope
/
from
Olga.
Showgirls 2.
Yeah.
/ Helga. Couldn't keep up with it.
It's mysterious.
Yeah.
And then, the amount of times I just wrote down, what the fuck is this movie? Why are there so many fade to blacks? What's up with all the ADR?
The first time he sees her is at his brother's wake.
Yeah.
Or at the after party for the funeral.
I know.
And he leans over to his buddy Eddie and goes, "Who's that fox with my mother?"
Uh-huh.
And he goes, "That's your brother's wife." And he goes, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah. It's his new wife too, because they said they've only been married for 6 months, which is not. They layer on so early on and so heavily that this woman is somehow involved. And it is so funny, like the reveal at the end.
Oh, the moment she pops up on screen, it's like, oh, she did it.
She did it.
Yeah,
she did it.
Yeah.
She also establishes why he left the Force in like one of the most insane lines of dialogue I've ever heard.
I have so many questions about that.
He was a cop in Boston, but he left for LA, and she says your brother told me you once rounded up all the prostitutes in town, made them take off their shoes, and marched through the rain singing hymns, and then you just walked off the job. I never understood that. I was like, yeah, same. What do you mean?
Me neither. What do you mean?
None of this is an exaggeration, JT. There's literally a monologue like that where she's just talking at him and basically reading his like rap sheet.
Yeah.
Was it a joke?
I don't think it was, because he doesn't act like that.
Was he trying to help them find Jesus?
Could not tell you, man.
Take off your shoes and praise the Jeebus man. Like, what the fuck are we? Why?
He was like, I was trying to bring some order to the world, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
No,
what are you
what?
talking about?
He talks about later because like she's revealed in the most upsetting way that she's a part of this lifestyle too with her late husband.
Right.
And he goes, "Oh, I just can't imagine blending the world of pain and sex or whatever." It's like very, a square's view on the BDSM community.
Yes.
Literally, cut to the sex scene where he basically beats the shit out of her.
Dude, Jesus, he might as well close fist, just punch her in the mouth. Like, that's how rough he is with her.
Yeah.
And also, it's, we've talked about this before, and we especially talked about it last week, but if you're going to show me a head to toe, fully nude Danielle Brett, we can't even get, like, again, the nape of the dick. Like, we can't get no signs of Dolph in this thing.
No, he even keeps his underwear on when he's tied up in that scene. Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. Just show like an inch of shaft. Show me something if you're going to show me this much.
Show me Dolph Grundle.
Bravo.
Don't care for that.
This is also the season of dogs getting punched for no reason because much like Jason Statham in The One, there's a part where Mary sicks her dogs on Dolph and he just like as his dog's leap for him, he just punches this dog in the face.
That and you were just about to point out that monologue she has about.
I have it written down, by the way.
It's written. It feels like it's written by somebody else because it's the only thing approaching any sense of empathy in the movie.
It's also someone who doesn't know how to write because
Absolutely.
the amount of sentence fragments and run-ons and things that don't connect with one another.
Sure.
It's so bizarre.
But she gives this monologue about how she's like, she engaged in S&M with her husband because he was so busy all the time and he's always making decisions for everyone. And so it was nice for him to feel like he could, give up that power for a little bit. It was like a release for him. And she seems to be into it. She says this thing that's like, when it's two people who trust each other, there's nothing better. And then at the end of the movie, she's just like, I fucking murdered my husband because he was into this kinky shit.
Yeah, she was like, the backstory about this woman and this marriage is that like they got married. He was into this kinky shit, this BDSM shit. Mm-hmm. And then it evolved to, he's like, babe, you're so good at it. You know who'd really enjoy this is my buddy Bill down at the office.
I know. Insane.
He'd really like you doing this shit to him too. And she's like, he let his friends basically do the same things to me that he did. And so I eventually just snapped and I murdered him. Mm-hmm. And then I murdered all the friends. And, I started getting a taste for the bloodlust. So I just started murdering random dudes. It's so bizarre. Like it is almost, it's like 10% of the way to a gender bent and from the other side, Jack the Ripper. Like instead of hunting down the prostitutes, it's the prostitutes hunting down the men.
And her reasoning is, I don't know if any of these people had anything to do with my mom being killed, but they might have, so they have to die.
Yeah. There is no rhyme or reason to why she decides to do all this stuff, but it's also funny because
men are evil. That's why she did it all.
If this movie's any evidence of it, I think she's right.
Yeah, no, 100%. She is correct.
Everyone's gross.
Yeah. But yeah, the movie tries to play fast and loose with how...
Get your shit together, Boston.
This movie tries to play fast and loose
the
with
fucking Celtics.
What you see on screen versus they're like, nah, you didn't see that.
That was actually someone else, even though you saw this other actor. Yeah.
At one point, Dolph goes and confronts Conway, and then he's like, shows him the video of his brother, and he's like, see, he willingly got tied up and was murdered by this person. And then Conway's goons jump him, and Dolph wakes up at like Superman's lair.
Yeah, that shot is nuts.
Oh no, that's straight up a scene from Power Rangers.
Yeah, it really is. Like the way it's lit and everything. But it's so funny because like they show the red dominatrix woman, Jill, I guess, stab him, and then he wakes up and he's like, oh, nothing happened.
Which seems to imply that he had a nightmare about a character he hasn't seen.
Yes. Yes. And it's also funny because, like, they try to make it real by, like, oh, he's beaten and he's dragged and he's being drugged through the snow. Mm-hmm. But it's so clear that he's, like, laying on a piece of wood that's being drugged because there's no face print or anything in the snow.
I also want to throw out Frances, quote unquote, the dominatrix in the red outfit. Do you know who that actress is?
I assumed it was Danielle Brett, but school me.
It's Christy Angus, who played the student who gets her face frozen in Jason X.
Right. What? I did see that. Yes, I did see that. Man, that's so funny. But they do that a couple of times that we're like, oh, that didn't happen. Because later on, when he finally goes to confront the dominatrix in the same way his brother died and agrees to get tied up, they show the dominatrix come out with a butcher's knife to kill him.
Yes.
And then his buddy bursts through the door, shoots her dead, and goes, "Oh, it was just like a feathered, a tickler thing."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "No, it wasn't. I fucking saw the knife in her hand.
I saw a knife. Yeah.
Movie, you can't pull this shit on me."
You can do a misdirect for the characters, but you literally can't tell the audience we didn't see what we just saw.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Apparently you can.
No, they shouldn't.
The best part is they just plant evidence on this woman. They're like, "No, I'll put a knife in her hand. See, she definitely did it."
Sprinkle some crack on her.
And then this scene, we're watching it now, but like where they show
Gratuitous close-ups of the red leather catsuit. Again,
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna like tilt up to reveal Dolph Lundgren in the fucking catsuit.
They should have.
Better movie.
This shot right here is so fucking funny to me. Like, I don't like the angle on it or anything.
Mm-mm.
It's so bizarre.
For the listener, Dustin has paused the movie on a little black banana hammock with a red vinyl butt crack just above it.
If it just panned up to reveal Dolph Lundgren, it would be so fucking good.
Better movie.
Guys, I have some disturbing thing I just noticed about this shot.
Uh-oh.
This is gonna be upsetting.
All right.
Go ahead.
This is definitely ball sack. That is 100% scrotum. Yeah. Oh God. There's straight up sack in this movie.
Easy like Sunday morning.
This shot though, like I don't like the way it's.
No.
No, you shouldn't like any of this.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Stop replaying it.
It's on a loop now.
Every single one of the BDSM scenes is also clearly written by somebody who has no idea how any of it works. Like there's no
2 weeks in a row, baby.
I know. Like we talked about last week, there's no sense of consent. Whenever Dolph Lundgren gets tied up.
To be fair, the person doing it in this movie is a murderer.
That's
Yeah.
true. But even when he doesn't go to the murderer, like I think the funniest part of the movie to me is when he goes to see that other woman, Katie, which is just like this prolonged nudity scene so that then he can get information from someone who's not in that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite bit. Is he picks a fucking BDSM club at random
Yes.
and then runs into a buddy.
Yeah.
Like runs into a guy he knows who's working security.
Yeah.
That shit is so funny. That was the best part of the movie to me.
But he goes through this long list of again, we're doing a fucking checklist this week. A list of limits. Do you like baby play? Do you like humiliation? Do you
Hold on. I got the list. Don't you worry.
It's so funny.
Wait, baby play? What the fuck?
I think she says baby games or something like that.
She does. She says, because she's going down the list of what are you into, and
Yeah.
I'll pick the right dominatrix for you. She says, are you into discipline, cross-dressing, baby games, bondage?
No. Yes.
A word that I'm not familiar with, inimus?
Enemas.
Oh, is it inim? The way her accent is, I was like, what the fuck is inimus?
She goes enemas.
Okay.
Enemies.
She has a very thick accent.
Do you want to be enemies?
That's what I thought.
It's that Boston accent, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. And then she goes,
Wicked awesome enemas. I sounded Australian.
yeah, she goes, anal, tickling, toilet training,
Oh god.
humiliation.
His response to toilet training is, I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah.
It's really-
Yeah.
But this club is insane, and he goes into this room with this dominatrix, and the first thing she goes is, what would you like? And I'm like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
You asked, like,
Yeah.
you're in charge. You're the dominatrix.
I think that scene we just did explains what he likes.
Yeah,
Like,
and also, like, what is she asking? Like, tell me what to tell you to do.
the woman that asked him all the questions, though, looks like she's been assimilated by the Borg because she's got all this weird shit on her face.
Yeah.
Everyone in that club has these wild fascinators on their heads and masks.
Like, if you told me this was like 4 years into the future, this is what it looks like. It's like
Yeah.
slightly different than what we're used to.
The fact that there wasn't a single like breaking the law needle drop in
Oh
this
my God.
entire movie is the most upsetting part.
The soundtrack for this movie cost a total of maybe $12, and they bought it on some sketchy GeoCities website that doesn't exist anymore. Because like
They bought the CDs for this soundtrack from like a guy outside a gas station. They're
Yeah.
like, what? Let me put your demo in this movie.
none of this music can be found online.
These are 7-Eleven tunes for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
100%.
And then to accompany that, the score sounds like it's being played underwater. Like, I don't know why. It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's the most like muffled, droney fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
And I say that as someone who makes a bunch of muffled, droney bullshit.
The lights are flashing in that club like there should be like techno or like heavy metal or something playing.
And
But
it's like smooth jazz. It was so fucking
Like,
funny.
They brought in Angelo Badalamenti for one day. Like
You almost expect like to pan over it. It's fucking Ryan Gosling and La La Land playing in the corner. It was so funny.
Oh no, bro! It's straight the theme song from Law and Order SVU.
Yeah,
It's fucking fantastic.
It's so bizarre because like he starts to develop this relationship with his dead brother's wife.
As you do.
We've all been there.
She goes, "I'm gonna go clean up," and goes. He just walks in on her taking a bath,
Yeah.
like, and then steals her clothes when she tries to cover herself up.
She lives with her mother-in-law, her elderly mother-in-law, but she's just taking a bath with the door open.
The door open, and it's like those old school bathtubs where like she has to sit like with her knees up to her chest because she can't fit in the whole thing.
Yes.
And then the mother-in-law is like any like old woman in a Scorsese movie. She's constantly in the background like, I'm just gonna cut up some carrots. I'm making this tomato sauce.
Yeah.
But she also has like this super thick Irish accent, which makes it even funnier that Dolph Lundgren's her kid.
I know. God. So yeah, the best part about this movie to me is like they go to this club, right? Where we talked about the scene already, but where Dom
Lundgren.
Dolph agrees to go with his buddy undercover to this club, and he's like, "Look, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna get tied up, and I'm gonna say a code word if I need your assistance."
Yeah.
And the word they settle on the code word is boots, which I thought was the poorest choice you could have when you're in a sex club, because boots sounds an awful lot like another word that you would probably hear thrown around a lot in a sex club.
Toots.
Well, when he's gagged, it sounds like he's yelling boobs.
And I'm like, yeah, if I was the guy on the other line, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what I expect you to be seeing.
But also, you're in an S&M club, so the odds of you saying, hey, step on my balls with your boots.
Yes.
And then the cops kick down the door.
It is funny that like he kicks down the door and just shoots her in the heart like immediately.
Immediately. No questions asked.
It was just, I was like, you can't pick any other word that would like sound better in this club. It's so funny to me. And then, I think she literally makes Dolph Lundgren lick her boots. And I was like, oh, so we got boot licking, just not the pathetic kind in this movie. I thought that was funny.
Well,
and the best part of it is that his whole energy in that sequence is, I don't know what the rules are. Because she just puts her boot in front of his face and goes, honor. It's like his face is like, what the fuck do you mean?
He's like, do I suck the tip of the boot? Or like, what do I do here?
Put the stiletto in my mouth.
Just starts quoting Gladiator.
No, I thought it was interesting. Like the only interesting aspect about this movie that I found was there is something to be said about like these 80s and 90s archetypes of these buff action stars.
Yeah.
That, normally you'd see something like Commando or Predator or even Die Hard to an extent just get so easily defeated by a small ribbon tying their wrist together. Like when Irene ties him up later after their sex scene.
You ever tried to tear a ribbon?
No, I know but it's just funny that like this delicate thing is what's preventing like this big macho guy from like doing his job. Like when they have their sex scene later on, him and Irene, and then she ties him up and leaves him there. I was like, there's something interesting here to be said, but this movie doesn't know what that is.
Right.
It accidentally stumbled into this imagery.
It's subverting expectations, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
And also, I need a full movie of him untying himself, leaving the hotel. Also, they go to a hotel even though we've spent half the movie at her home.
Yeah. The sets make no sense.
Well, the mother-in-law's there.
That's true. The hotel did not have a cuck chair, I noticed, but it did have a cuck television that was like big enough to sit on.
I wish during that sex scene, like where it is the CCTV footage, like the mother-in-law comes in with like, I got fresh sheets. Oh my God. Like, she just stumbles her way in. This woman is so frail. She's going to collapse under any moment.
She's tiny.
Like you could, a small gust of wind would like destroy this woman. I also thought it was funny because like there's the reveal, quote unquote, which I don't know if we can call it that, but like when Irene started talking about her sister.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is it required by law that you have the same haircut as your sibling? Because they straight up do. It's the same like bowl cut bob thing.
Yes.
DC, it's literally the haircut you have now.
You're
what
right.
The fuck
You're
are
right.
you talking about?
Bowl cut Bob. That's what they call me back in high school.
Bowl cut. And it was because of his pubes. Not even the hair on the top of his head.
Good joke, Big Jim.
It also doesn't help. Like I said, every single suspect in this movie wears the same Party City wig.
Yeah. Yeah, and they just keep exchanging it too. I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah. There's some more side ball.
There's
on
some
the screen
side
right
ball,
now.
yeah. Lots of side balls, yeah.
Can we not?
I think at the end of this season, we may be able to combine all these forces like Voltron, like side ball, Dick Nape.
Yeah.
Like we may be able to actually get somewhere.
This side ball linings playlist.
We've really gone downhill this season.
Before the sex scene between Dolph and Irene, there's a moment where like they're supposed to be like developing this sexual chemistry, and I swear to God, they almost kiss for like 30 seconds. It's like one leans in, one recoils, and then they lean back in, the other recoils.
It's literally like that scene from Walk Hard.
Yes. It's like, oh.
She just sort of holds his bottom lip in her lips for like 30 seconds of screen time.
But then we cut to like just hardcore fucking. Like
he's
so
like
weird.
grabbing her by the hair. He puts her head in a potted plant. Like
Crime, penetration, crime, penetration.
And it's hard because she doesn't have much hair up there. So the fact that he's able to get a full handful, he's just like shoving her around, just gripping scalp.
Well, that's the point of the back of a mullet.
That's why I got it.
something about the term grip and scalp just really upset
I didn't
me.
like that.
I didn't like it at all.
Alternate title for this movie: Grip It and Rip It.
Oh, there you go.
That's good. Speaking of which, what if we were going to give this movie a
Second
name?
alternative title: The Fast and the Curious.
I like
you
that
know
a
what?
lot.
You answered my question because my next question was going to be like, Joe Ribs is not a great title.
No.
What would be a good alternate title for this thing? I think of the official ones, I think Tied Up is probably the best, but I don't know. I couldn't think of anything good for the scene either. Fast and Curious is pretty good though. I'll give you that.
Rocky Foreplay.
You're not going to do any better than that. You're right. Bravo. I like that.
You were so hesitant to say that. I could literally see Nathan kind of like, should I say
I
it?
was doing the math.
Should I say it?
You can see the wheels turning.
No, you could see the knots tying.
There you go. There you go. You know, speaking of, we talked about knots last week with like the board of knots that was in the hardware store at 50 Shades.
Yes.
Yeah, why do you think I chose that last week?
I was going to say, at what point, Melly, did you make the decision? Because you really did reach out and go, is it too late to change my pick? Because you had a different movie on. So what made you be like, is it just because you saw this movie? Is it because you saw it after 50 Shades and you saw the knots in that movie? Like, what was the defining factor?
So I knew that 50 Shades was
Coming.
I saw this movie and was like, oh my God, like I need to put this on the list. Like Dustin and Nathan are going to hate me. It's great.
You're not wrong.
And then I was like looking at my picks and I was like, man, like, oh shit. And then I realized that I could switch out so that this one came right after 50 Shades.
You know
Perfect.
what? It did.
Yeah.
It did come after. You're right.
It did.
And just like I had to complete the trilogy, Madam Web, 50 Shades, then this movie that combines the two.
You know,
Absolutely.
it makes sense.
So I was like, it's serendipitous.
I'm seeing the logic here. I understand.
Me picking this movie had more logic than this entire fucking movie.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
My last note here, and I could just have been fully checked out. I don't know.
Yeah.
During the sex scene in the hotel, we then cut to the mom answering the door, and there's a lady there who says that she's Irene's mom.
Yep.
Who the mother, we were told, was killed years ago.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Don't know.
Sequel bait.
Do you think so? Like, because
No, I don't think so. What the fuck?
Because then the mom is like, her mother came by and she got some of her stuff, and then that's how he puts together that Irene is the killer. That makes no sense because he's with Irene at the time.
I think what it is they're trying to do this thing of like, oh, Irene's not actually who she says she is. She is this enigmatic, like we don't know, mysterious past. She's using this thing as an excuse, like the dead mom story and everything. And
Maybe.
I think it's just very muddied. It's just messy screenwriting. They don't know what they want to do, so they don't commit to anything.
Yeah.
And then it's like the movie is just Dolph Lundgren kind of just drunkenly stumbling into situations, getting beat, and then waking up and be like, I guess I gotta do that again, but like differently. Like it's almost like Edge of Tomorrow, but like poorly.
Yeah.
Poorly done.
Edging for tomorrow.
There you go. And like these two guys are fighting here in the scene, and this dominatrix is just standing in the corner watching. She doesn't react at all.
No.
I just love that he just runs into an old school buddy.
Yeah.
Well, Boston's a small place.
Fucking guess.
If I know anything about Boston, it's a very tiny city.
This is a small city, you know?
What do you think Ben Affleck thinks of this movie?
He likes them apples. I'll tell you that. Missed opportunity for this guy that he runs into not to be Richard Keel. Like,
I wish it would, because he reminded me of, he's like Jim Broadbent's character in Moulin Rouge mixed with Sean Connery and Zardoz.
I love it. God. Yeah, what a bad movie.
Yeah, it sucks.
This movie sucked. This movie
I fucking
blows.
hated it.
I'm into it. I'd say it rips.
Oh, bravo.
As you guys were trying to like explain the plot, I was trying to like fast forward the movies. Like, oh, let me catch up to whatever they're talking about, and I'm like, where the fuck is the shit they're talking? I'm skipping back and forth. Like, did I miss it? Did I go too far?
It's a mirage of a movie, JT. Everything just blends together. It's
Again, it's just like just a bunch of vignettes
It's so bizarre.
of random shit.
And then that's Jill Ritz. We don't even have to like really do like the wrap, like the ending, like summary. Like they plant evidence on this fucking woman. Like we didn't even talk about the henchman too. That's got the most bizarre accent I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah, who yells like this?
Jim, how do you pronounce his last name?
Kajalvia?
What? Yeah, what?
Jim Jarmusch.
Jim Jarmusch.
The guy's got an accent like Watto. He's like, it's so fucking bizarre. Don't come around here again.
I paid you to step on my balls.
The craziest fucking costume and wig choice of all time.
There's
Like,
so many wig choices in this movie.
we gotta show this guy to JT.
Yeah, I'll find them.
No pod race is worth 2 sex workers. No way.
Is that the dude that like hit him with a crowbar and stuff in the beginning?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I noticed that too.
He does have like a warrior's wig on and like some sunglasses too from that movie.
Like if you want just the most deep cut Halloween costume that no one's gonna understand,
No
fucking
one will
here
know.
we go.
Mm-hmm.
Dolph Lundgren could see you in that costume and go, I have no idea who you're supposed to be.
He looks like evil Uncle Rico. Like it's,
A little
it's the
bit.
weirdest.
Yep.
Kinky Rico Suave.
Bravo. Fellas, I don't have any other notes. We literally hit every single one of them. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we get into the wrap up stuff here?
No.
All right.
Not a damn thing.
Well, let's tear on over to Prop Cop, I guess. So again, if you're new to the show, which I can't imagine. I truly can't imagine what kind of life you're living if it is.
Like if this is the first time you listen to the show and this is the episode you pick.
Oh, bizarre.
Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye. Thank you for stopping by, I guess.
Laters, baby.
Prop Cop is where we're going to look at all of the props in Jill Rips, and good luck if you could even see anything going on in this movie and you detail a prop. But we're each going to pick one for ourselves.
Oh yeah, I got mine locked in, bro. Don't even worry.
I feel like I know what it is.
I do too, and I'm going to be upset because I literally wrote down one, and I know one of you took it, but let's see.
No, you're both wrong.
Okay, what prop do you want?
Irene's fur coat.
Oh,
that is a
yeah,
nice
it's good.
coat.
It's a good looking coat.
Yeah.
Also, credit where credit's due. This is a cold movie.
It does feel cold, I'll tell you that.
It is a cold movie.
JT, you can't keep rewinding this.
I didn't. That was this next scene. I ain't touched it.
You're right.
Big Jim loves this movie.
But I was thinking how funny it would be if I kept backing it up to that to see how long it would take for y'all to notice that it's just the same.
Also, wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Do we think that Chris Evans' sweater in Knives Out was inspired by Dolph Lundgren's look in this movie?
I'm so glad you brought this up because I'm also going to pick wardrobe.
It's the same fucking sweater.
I'm picking Dolph Lundgren's white turtleneck sweater as my prop.
Wow.
It's the same fucking sweater.
It's the same sweater. It looks so fucking comfy.
Yeah.
I was so jealous of it.
Honestly, his whole look is just Chris Evans in Knives Out. Like, Ryan Johnson, explain yourself.
Well, he starts off looking like Stallone does in First Blood,
Yes.
and then as it goes on, he does start to get nicer and nicer sweaters. I will say that.
He gets cozier as the movie goes on because
He
he's getting
sure
more
does.
comfortable with bondage.
He sure does. And that's why he's got the turtleneck. It's closing around his throat, too. You know what I mean? It's getting tighter.
There's storytelling in this. It's a deep film.
Deep, thematically rich film. Yep.
Talking level of penetration. Anyway, Prop Cop.
God.
So I also picked wardrobe. Irene has this red trench coat looking bathrobe.
Yeah, she
yeah.
does.
And I want it so badly.
Hell yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
I also want to throw out the mom has a cheese plate at the after funeral party, so I just want to sit with my cheese in my bathrobe.
After funeral parties. Just a weird Mad Lib of things.
Now that I'm seeing that bathrobe again, yeah, that's a good fucking choice. God damn.
It looks cozy as hell.
It's a bathrobe with a collar on it. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But also the literal red herring here.
I
And
know.
like
Chekhov's bathrobe.
it really is like the red suit just gives it away so easily.
Yes.
All right, well, let's talk about bit part.
I'm uncircumcised. Yeah. I'm into you and I'm hard. Yeah. Hey, I was born to fertilize. Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
What the fuck is that from?
JT, I expected you to know that. That is from one of my favorite comedies of all time, Sex Drive.
Oh, wow. A movie I have not thought about since it came out.
It is specifically from the uncut version where they just keep looping editing jokes.
Oh, man.
And it's so fucking funny to me.
Real quick, going into bit part, can I choose JT's?
Yes.
Oh,
Sure.
boy.
You know what?
Okay, great.
I'll allow it. It's unconventional, but I'll allow it. Watch yourself,
Fantastic.
counselor.
Okay, well, for mine, I just want to be one of the workers in the subway.
In the freezing cold subway.
Yeah. For JT's, he's gonna be the guy that's tied up with his head in the oven.
Oh, going full Sylvia Plath on it. Yeah, I wrote that down as a potential option. Yeah.
I love that.
Big Jim with his head in the stove.
That sounds like the worst Bob Dylan song I've ever heard.
Big Jim with his head in the stove.
Do you think Timothée Chalamet sings that in that movie?
How many stoves must a man sit in?
I must have missed that part when we were skimming through this.
Here, I'll find it, JT.
I think it's the last time he goes to Mario's house.
He's to Mary's house.
yeah.
But it's after this.
I hate that I know character names.
I know, it sucks, right?
Well, I went and looked it up because I was like, I need to give Mary some justice because this character gets none. Oh, it's gotta be right here. Yeah. All right, I'll let that play. Nathan, who do you want to be?
Big Jim, pay attention, bud.
During the bar fight in the middle of the movie, there's this guy who is only shot from the back, but he does this weird like shake and growl, like he's like he has karate moves that they didn't choreograph.
Yep.
I want to be him.
Oh no, it's not this scene. Okay, hold on. I got to find it for him. And I'll also real quick because I know where mine is. There's when he first goes to the dominatrix club and they run down the list of what are you into, what are you not into.
Yeah.
While he's waiting in like the waiting room area.
The guy smoking there.
Well, there's a guy in there that's like he looks like a reject from the Village People, and he's just like playing with a pair of handcuffs.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, he's got like the little police cap on and everything.
It's some good business.
It is some good business. This guy right here. He gets a hero shot for some reason.
Love him.
I gotta find this shot for. Oh, here it is.
Oh yeah, there you go. Around the 56-minute mark.
Mr. Skin over here.
Is it before this?
No.
It's the scene, I think.
It's that scene, but I thought it's when he first walks in. No, it's not here. This is a different. He goes to her fucking apartment so many goddamn times.
No, that was it.
No, I'm telling you, it's like 56 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yeah, it's that scene. Watch, he goes around the corner.
There he is. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have doubted you.
JT, that's you, baby.
That's you.
I like that guy just gets left there too.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear him like muffling, and they're like,
I love how I'm being punished for not watching the movie.
that's what you get.
Not choosing my own bit part.
Next time you'll know.
You'll learn today.
Also, is that guy like super glued into the oven? Because he struggles to get out,
I know.
but it shouldn't be that difficult.
Guys, if we go back, we'll find more balls. So we're not going
Yeah, there'll be some more ball cam. All right, well, let's get over to Silver Linings. And I gotta tell you, this one's tough.
I got it.
Got one locked in, bud.
I got one too.
Please, whoever wants to go ahead.
I got my silver lining tied down.
Let's hear it, sir.
Do it.
No, go ahead, Nathan.
This is
So polite.
this is the second time I've had this one this season, but after he murders Mary O, the last shot of the movie is him sitting down with her dog, and so my silver lining is free dog.
Yeah.
All right,
I like that.
copy that.
Let's hear yours, Mally.
The BDSM community in Boston is fucking thriving.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is. I half expected Al Pacino to be in one of those clubs as well, being like trying to track down a different serial killer.
God, that'd be amazing.
God, if you haven't seen Cruising, by the way, better movie.
Yeah.
Like objectively, a better movie.
Hot take.
Uh-huh.
Are we sure?
I think I'm right about that. I don't know.
Honestly, alternate title for this movie, Heat 2.
Heat 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
I struggled because mine kept coming back to, well, the movie's only 90 minutes. That's my silver lining bit. I just put that, Dolph's mom got closure on her son's death.
I guess.
Like that's really all I got.
I fucking guess, yeah.
I mean that I don't know what you want from me. This guy Dolph Lundgren's a terrible person.
Yes.
He shoots Mary in the heart and then leaves her for dead. And not only that, when he has the opportunity to come clean and go, oh, it was self-defense, he just goes, I don't know what happened.
Comes dirty.
Alternate silver lining, this guy's not a fucking law enforcement officer anymore.
Yeah.
Thank God.
But he's allowed to walk into every crime scene with impunity.
Yeah. He's just a lot. He gets all the evidence.
Again, man, the 70s, pre 9/11, shit was crazy.
He's literally arrested for kidnapping a billionaire, and then he's allowed to just walk into crime scenes and be like, yeah, I think they killed each other. I didn't do it.
Yeah. And they're all like, yeah, adds up.
I don't understand why this movie's set in the 70s. It literally brings nothing to. I feel like they just had a bunch of 70s outfits, like the wigs and everything. They're like,
Right.
We got to make this. No, it can't be contemporary.
They only had the budget for the 70s.
They couldn't afford to reach out to present day. All right, well, let's say this. Let's say if you somehow, for some reason, watch Jill Ribs and you're like, I can't reclaim my time now. What's a movie that people should watch after they watch? And we're going to talk about a double feature, aka our pick-me-ups.
Mm-hmm.
I think that same song was even playing in the sex club at one point.
It was.
What's a movie people should watch after Jill Ribs, fellas? I wrote, if you want another murder mystery with a white guy harassing a black woman a lot, but it's actually funny, go with Ghost.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Ghost.
Go with Ghost.
Yeah. All right.
Rewatched it recently. Still a fun movie.
Yeah,
Still
it is. Yeah.
I was wondering why you got so into pottery.
I kept thinking there are more fun Dolph Lundgren movies to watch than this.
Oh, you
and
think?
After I finished this, I threw on 1989's The Punisher.
Oh, shit. Hell yeah.
Which is not a great movie, but very entertaining.
Oh my God. Alternate title for this.
The Punisher, TOO.
Butt Punisher. Yeah.
Butt Punisher.
All right, Bally, what are you watching?
The Town.
Yeah.
Boston, baby.
Yeah, I want some more Boston, but I want like actual Boston.
Actually, no. My pick-me-up is going to be Casey Affleck's Dunkin' Donuts sketch from SNL.
There you go.
Cut your fingernails, for Christ's sakes.
JT, now that you've glimpsed this movie, can you think of a movie people should pair with it?
Clear it out, bud. Clear it out.
Sorry.
I didn't realize RFK Jr. was on the phone call with us now.
Ungag yourself.
Take the ball gang.
RFK Jr. loves Boondock Saints.
Get your head out of the oven.
Yeah, there you go. Get your head out of there, man. Any suggestion?
I mean, I don't know. The Departed.
All right, yeah.
Just thinking of other Boston movies.
Sure, why not? Fuck it.
Is Boston Cream Pies another alternate title for
Oh my God.
Nope.
We can leave that joke out of the episode if we want to.
Are you kidding? I'm putting it in a double again. I don't know what you're fucking talking about.
Cream Pies.
We got to stretch this episode out as long as possible.
Oh boy.
Nah, we hit an hour. We're good. Let's wrap this bitch up.
You're right. I gotta ask, fellas, do we recommend Jill Ribs, aka Jill the Ripper, aka Tied Up, aka Boston Cream Pie?
Absolutely not.
Oh my God.
I hated watching this.
I missed the person I was before I watched this movie.
Oh, boys, you better hope there's no sequel to this.
Oh, no fucking way there's gonna be a sequel.
We're watching this shot of Irene stuffing a chicken, and I hate it so much.
Is that another alternate title? Stuffed chicken?
Yep.
Oh boy. Oh, any final thoughts, fellas, before we get out of here?
You're fucking welcome, boys.
Oh God damn it.
It's not even 10 a.m. yet. Jesus fuck.
If you haven't already, please subscribe, rate, leave feedback wherever you are right now listening to us. If you want to follow us on social media, you can check us out on Blue Sky, Instagram.
I mean, they don't now.
That's true. You can check us out on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, and Lemon8. Don't ask. Mally, I know you're going to ask questions. Don't bother.
Explain.
That's Beyonce's app?
It's Beyonce's BDSM app.
Oh,
It's
cool.
It's only for people to talk about this movie, kind of like Jeremy Renner's app is just for people to talk about him.
Oh, is that like the new version of Twatter?
There you go.
Cool.
You can check us out on our subreddit at reddit.com/r/silverlinings-playlist or our website at tslppodcast.com. If you want to submit your bit part suggestion or maybe even a movie you want us to cover for the show, you can do so by using our contact us form on our website or emailing us at the silverliningsplaylist@gmail.com.
Yeah, please make suggestions because then I will stop having to pick shit.
I was gonna say, we won't have to do this anymore. And lastly, check out our Patreon if you want more of our show at patreon.com/silverliningsplaylist.
Where you can find the extended version of this episode that's 6 hours long where we break down every single scene.
Absolutely.
We go through it frame by frame, seeing if we can find hidden balls.
Yep.
It's like hidden Mickeys at Disney, but instead we're doing doing it for balls.
Mm-hmm.
We just wrapped up our Showgirls 1 commentary. Our Showgirls 2 live stream is going to get released later on.
Oof.
And then we're going to start up our new thing. And speaking of, I want to put out this announcement. Our 200th episode is coming up soon, fellas. And we each have selected one movie potentially to be that 200th episode.
I know. I regret this not being my pick.
Oh, my fucking Lord. Well, the 200th episode poll is out right now. So if you go to our social media accounts, wherever you want to find it, on TikTok, Instagram, wherever, you'll see a video up that has a poll in the comments.
That's us spanking JT 200 times.
It's the options you have for our 200th episode is 2001: A Space Odyssey, Back to the Future Part 2, and I feel like this has got to be only because it's our show. The third option, Halloween Resurrection.
Oof.
One of these things is not like the other, I'll say that. But all you have to do is leave a comment, and wherever you're seeing the video, YouTube, whatever, just leave one comment and say, this is my pick for what your 200th episode should be. If you are a Patreon member, your one vote equals 10 votes in the selection. So at the end of the poll, it will be March 15th when that poll ends. We'll tally up all the votes, and whoever gets the most votes wins. So you pick our 200th episode.
Now, starting now, we are imposing a 25% tariff on all Patreon subscriptions.
Absolutely. Yep. But no, if you do want to check out our Patreon and maybe get those 10 extra, 9 extra votes.
Relevant jokes.
You can do so with a 7-day free trial or $1 a month after that.
Yeah.
Well, $1.25.
There you go. The poll ends March 15th. We'll announce which movie won on our 199th episode on March 31st. Tell us what movie we should do for our 200th episode. I'm excited.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes, Nathan.
Did any of us, we didn't make the joke that was in your envelope.
We didn't. I was going to say we're almost at the end of the episode and the envelope is still unopened.
What was the joke?
We'll see. Maybe we'll get there. We'll find out.
Okay.
The last bit of business I have here, fellas, is I got to give you a clue for what we're going to be talking about next week.
Mm-hmm.
And that clue is you got to watch out for those piano's teeth. They're dangerous.
I'm excited.
I have no idea what next week's episode is.
Next week's episode, I'll give you a second clue. We're diving back into Japanese cinema.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to talk about this week.
It's going to be a fun time.
JT, have you seen the movie we're doing next week? I'll go ahead and tell you, and I'll just cut out the episode, but we're doing...
I have not.
Oh, you gotta watch it. You're gonna love it.
You're gonna love it, man.
I've seen it on like a lot of like top 10 lists or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to finally have an excuse to watch it.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
All right, well, I guess we didn't make it to the joke.
I guess if I can, yeah. Never mind. Go ahead.
No. If you think you can figure out what it is, I'll give you a clue. What's in the envelope?
Please,
It revolves around. I'm trying to find the scene.
It can't be Polish Elvis.
We watched this scene so many fucking times. I should be able to get there real quick. Hold on.
I swear to God, if it's the squatting scene.
It's the squatting scene. I'll tell you that now.
Oh, then yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, since no one got there, I guess I'll just tell you. But this shot in particular is what inspired the one we keep stopping on.
Is it because it looks like cake farts?
You know what? Hold up. This is because I really expected someone to make this. I truly expected you, Nathan. I'm kind of disappointed. But here,
Excuse me?
I'll tell you what it says. An alternate title.
Disappointed!
An alternate title for this movie should have been Jill Rips, and I would have accepted Jill Rips a fart, Jill Rips ass, Jill Rips gas, etc. I was really expecting someone to make that comment.
You're upset at Nathan for not making a fart joke?
Yeah, this is what are you talking about? This is exactly Nathan's avenue. This is your history on the show led me to believe that you would have made one of these jokes.
When have I made a fart joke on the show?
Not that you made a fart joke in particular, but you are the pun lord of the show. You have made these connections.
This reveal was more disappointing than this fucking movie.
Man.
All right, well, rest in peace, Oatmeal, and I guess Mary, since no one else is going to fucking say it for her.
Sure.
And as always...
Stop, you're making me moist. Is Boston Cream Pies another alternate title for this?
Oh my God.
Nope. Jesus Christ, that was a long one. Anyway, if you're still here, thanks for listening. And remember, you can always check out our back catalog for over 100 episodes of the show. Like, subscribe, and leave feedback if you want. And tune in next week for another one. Laters!